Chick. Hello everyone, and welcome back to SonicxShadow Generations. We are, like I said, on the medias. We are going to wrap up Sonic Generations, but... we return to Game Select. So we have, I want to say, just the final mission of the game left. And I also wanted to chat about Sonic 3, because I haven't done that yet. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go finish up the game. Because I have been wanting to kind of talk about it for a little bit, and have not done so solely because I was not, playing, or, I don't know. Life got away from me. I had to work on Christmas, and I didn't enjoy that. It's basically one of the few fun things I got to do before Christmas was I got to go see Sonic 3. And it was very much a very, very good movie. I will say this. Sonic 3, because it's not a bad movie. Like, I've had a lot more time to digest it. And honestly, I think it's really good. Keanu as Shadow. And this is going to be spoiler heavy. This is not spoiler free. You know what? Here, let's do... No. I want to do Space Colony Arc. Here, let's... challenge stage list. Oh, hey! That's something fun that we can do. I haven't done the Doomwing level for this yet, so... Huh.
Fine. I've got you now. I won't let you get away.
So, general thoughts on the film. I did think it was really good. There was a lot that they changed about Shadow's origin. Which, given, his backstory that he's a biomedical super weapon created utilizing alien DNA from the Black Arms, I absolutely see how they could have done that and how they could have gotten away with whatever they did. Like, maybe Shadow is going to end up being like the vanguard of Black Doom. He was meant to be as non-threatening appearing as possible. I don't know. I don't know what the heck Paramount and Sega are going to do with Sonic 4. Or at least Shadow's continued, because he doesn't die, which makes sense. Although they definitely... I figured you got Keanu Reeves to play the character. Why would you even just mildly assume that the character would die, So that's probably why you're not seeing any, like, oh, is Shadow going to be alive? Because he survived he technically survived Sonic Adventure 2, starting in Sonic Heroes, it turns out he survived.
Ultimate power.
But it's definitely going to be interesting. Because I feel like definitely if they're going to keep having Keanu Reeves around, I feel like it's just an awesome role for him. It's not super duper serious. Like, it's definitely not a film that's going to take itself seriously, and that's why it's like I have a hard time like trying to be like critically think about it. It's like this is not a film where you're going to be like, well, we need to judge every single aspect of it. This is very much a turn off your brain, just have fun. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, Think about your childhood and how you played this game, and now realize that they've turned it something awesome. Or turned like your childhood into something really awesome. Oh wait, I can utilize Doomwings. so much of this level feels kind of scripted that it's kind of hard to remember that, you know, I technically have a super form available.
Unleash the power.
There we go. Fuck my ass. Fine. But absolutely, it's very much a fun film, and Jim Carrey, absolutely. He does not, it's very hard to say like he carries it, but his dual role performance as Dr. Eggman as well, and Gerald, or Dr. Gerald Robotnik, definitely helped to make it more unique than just a retelling of Sonic Adventure 2. Which honestly I really enjoy. The overall plot, you know, is definitely, again, it's Mission Impossible meets Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what it kind of basically devolves into. Which is not at all a bad thing. I honestly think that's a really cool concept. Or it goes from this complicated, like, you know, retelling of Sonic Adventure 2's story that's been kind of twisted to make it more interesting into kind of Mission Impossible with Sonic the Hedgehog, which again isn't a bad thing. I've never actually watched any of the Mission Impossible films, but they've made like 20, and I'm pretty sure there's a reason for that. And definitely, the way it kind of runs is definitely, it definitely works. And at the point where Shadow like punt kicks and hurts Tom, and just like sets Sonic off is kind of awesome. Because it kind of shows how much of an influence Tom has had, to the point where it's like, I can't imagine, you know, life without you. Yeah, there's also like a point where Sonic and Shadow are fighting where he's got him dead to rights, and he's still like, you know, I can imagine life without you, but I can't imagine what I'd be, like, I don't want to be what I want to be, you know, what I don't want to be what I would have been without you, and that absolutely is Shadow. Which is definitely an interesting concept, and it definitely works with it. The one thing I question,
I won't let him escape it.
In terms of a choice, is Maria. First off, they turned her, because the movie is set in 2024, which I think is just awesome already. Because they set the movie in 2024, that means 50 years ago would not be like the 1950s, which is what it was back when the game first released in 2000, or 1999, 2000, you know? So they ended up turning Maria into a flower child. You know, like one of those 70s, like, you know, like budding free spirit characters, which I very much love, because it's very much an interesting, like, characterization. I've seen the fandom run with it on, like, the sole grounds of, like, they've kind of mixed video game Maria and movie Maria, and the end result is just kind of this gremlin that, stuck in the body of, like, a terminally ill child, child. And honestly, I love it, because I do believe that even if she's like the sweetest girl in the world, she absolutely would not have, or not have been a little mistress, you know, when hanging out with Shadow, you know? Just solely on the grounds is like, yeah, you know, you're doing everything you can to help me, but that doesn't mean we can't be a little, you know, doesn't mean we can't, like, you know, be kids. You know, and that's basically watching it, you know, having, first off, there was no bio-lizard in the movie, but they have the bio-lizard as a sort of Godzilla stand-in, and they're watching, like, old, like, they're watching, like, a Godzilla parody, the bio-lizard, and it's, like, Shadow questioning, like, am I a monster, like, from the movie? He's like, no, you're not, you know, you're you. You know? They created an interesting iteration of Maria where they laid, much like with Maria herself in, like, the series, they laid the groundwork for Shadow's moral compass. It's more the not dealing with the trauma of losing such an important character in his life that made him what he is. So, but again, I very much like what they did with Maria. She also does not die by getting shot. She actually dies in a freak explosive accident. Gerald realized that Shadow was in danger, and I think he had come to, like, I think this actually is what happened. He come to kind of see him as his own son, or as one of his own kids. So he ended up, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, trying to run away from the military base. Oh, that's the other thing, and we'll get into that in a second. He ended up running away from the military base, or trying to run away from the military base that, they were stationed in for Project Shadow. And it ended up, you know, the guy who plays the commander of Gun, who's not Abraham Towers. I forget his name, though. But he's basically like a young military sergeant in, like, the flashback, and tries to stop them because, like, there's a child there, and one of them, people accidentally fires and shoots a, oh, fuck. Okay, so I can kind of see how this level would definitely benefit from having the Doomwing power. This level was definitely designed for the Doomwing. It's like, okay, now you gotta figure out how to get past it if you don't have the Doomwing on. So Maria's death was an accident. Was an accident provoked by military action that ultimately had the military just not locked Shadow away to let that fester and actually trying to help him. He probably wouldn't have been so evil. Then he's probably going to be moving in with Eddie's mom next month. Oh, wait, hang on, sorry. Sorry about that. I got a text from a friend. Anyway, but definitely the film very much in itself has, like, the situation, you know, that turns Shadow into kind of like the antagonist. but it also very much... First off, I don't think Gunn should have at all kept Shadow at least locked up the way they did, not after that, because, one, the fact that they, that one of the people fired, even if it was a misfire, that would have been grounds for insubordination. That would have been grounds for a discharge, but it definitely did not help things when they locked up Robotnik, Gerald, and, you know, basically made him out to be the bad guy. It's like, you were running illegal experiments on an alien, I get it, but at the same time, we also just killed a child whose only crime was being the one instance of decent humanity this creature has to go off of. You know, we're not exactly the good guys here. So it definitely, it's hard to root for Gunn in this film, and you're not going to find yourself rooting for Gunn. I don't think, because it very much feels like they should be on, like, Sonic and everyone's side, you know, like, helping them out. But it's also definitely a situation of they're not interested in trying to make right, you know, what they did to this poor creature. They are solely interested in trying to cover their own asses, which, that's just, it's very much still also a situation with Gunn in the, in the games, too, at least in Sonic Adventure 2. Because, given Shadow's design, there's, especially since in, like, Sonic X, you know, there's photographic evidence as, like, oh, this is, you know, strange hedgehog-like creature, but it's definitely different than Sonic. We should probably ask him, you know, if he knows who this is, and maybe reach out to him for help. But no, they're like, no, it's automatically Sonic who's at fault. So. I'd actually say Gunn's never been the good guys in the movie, but definitely, it could have felt like had, especially since Shadow ends up, for a time being one of the villains of the movie, it definitely could have been a situation of Gunn, you know, could have, at the very least, said, okay, here's the situation, we fucked up, you know, we want your help with this, because you seem to be the only, you are an example of you know, alien anthropomorphic animals having properly adjusted to our world, and we think you could help with Shadow. Definitely the way that they kind of structured the films, that's where I feel like it's an obvious kind of thing, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they're pretty faithful to a lot of how Sonic Adventure 2 ended up rolling. So you can kind of forgive a few glaring plot points, just for the fact that they ended up making a really good video game adaptation, you know? I feel like had Gunn not ended up being at least an adversarial force in Sonic 3, we would have had a Death Note Netflix situation where it's like, okay, I get it. I get why you're doing this, but at the same time, you've deviated so far from what we had that it just feels endless. So, I also know there's also no mention of Maria being sick, which I guess if Shadow wasn't made to be like a biomedical like weapon to like cure NIDS, which is a disease Maria has, that would make sense. But also at the same time, it was an interesting choice because it honestly felt like Maria was just there just to be like the positive human influence for Shadow. She's supposed to be there because she's so unwell that she cannot exist, like, at least even remotely, unless she's on the Ark, which is the other thing I noticed. There is no Ark. The Eclipse Cannon itself was a weapon created after Robotnik's imprisonment, where, you know, if you read the journal in the game, you realize while he's on the Ark trying to figure out how to create or harness chaos energy to create the ultimate life form. You know.
Unleash the power.
Yeah, I forgot I could do that. He ends up, in order to having to appease the government, creating the Eclipse Cannon. I dropped that. I entered the super form so late, it was not even funny. But I got an S, so yay! Act 2. Act 2 of tonight's opera. Hold on. I go to text someone and then I return to the Twitchy app, and it's not letting me, or it's still in minimize mode, or in picture-in-picture mode on my phone. I'll do that in a second. And then going from there,
Ultimate power.
I don't have a problem with the way they created the Eclipse Cannon, because it still ends up being like the thing that they end up having like the fight against. Robotnik himself, or Gerald Robotnik, because he's still alive, ends up being the main antagonist of the Force. There's no like pre-programming of Shadow. The guy has so much post-traumatic stress, you know, so much PTSD from Maria's death, and it's just festered for 50 years. That he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. If we're gonna kill everyone, we're gonna kill everyone. You know? Which, again, probably the worst thing Gunn could have done was let Shadow's trauma fester, but I rarely think the military has people's best interests at heart, no matter what the situation is. So, going from there, because I am going to keep talking until I am done talking. So again, I don't have a problem with the fact that there's no Ark, or the fact that, you know, the Eclipse Cannon is, you know, basically like the main focus, which it ended up being in the first game, or in the game itself. But at the same time, I am kind of confused and weirded out that the film decided we're not going to have it be powered by the Chaos Emeralds. It's essentially going to be powered by perpetual motion machines started up by Shadow's Chaos Energy. Which, cool idea, but I mean, you introduced the Chaos Emeralds in the previous game, or previous movie, and then you kind of just leave them to be a MacGuffin, you know? Where in the original game, they were kind of like the driving force. We had to stop back and getting the Chaos Emeralds, because whatever he's planning to use them for, it can't be good. What ends up happening in Sonic Adventure 2, or, what ends up happening in Sonic 3 is that, I kind of popped it too late. Well, no, okay. The game took it away from me for a second. Still getting all these S ranks. It basically, you know, Sonic gets pissed enough that he decides, okay, I'm gonna just grab the Master Emerald, pull out the Chaos Emeralds from it, and then, you know, get my rightfully deserved, in most aspects, revenge. And then it's pretty cool how Sonic and Shadow fight in their super forms, which, by the way, I absolutely love that they finally went back to Shadow's original color. Somebody said, oh, it's a glitch, but honestly, I feel like it's the better color for Shadow, because if you ever inverted an image of Sonic, he gets kind of like a yellowish color to him. No, that's just me. I'm the only one who messed around with paint because he was bored on his computer, or on the family computer growing up. I would just grab JPEGs from the internet, pop them into paint, and then just mess around with them, creating my own like art and stuff, using it as a basis. That was me? Okay, fine. Fuck all of you. But, with Shadow, you kind of got like a whitish, color, and that always kind of felt like it amounted to me at least. That, because not every character has like the same super form. Knuckles turns kind of pink. Tails turns like, I forget, he's a lighter color, but he's also got like flickies floating around him. I think Amy also goes gold, I don't know. I know she does have a super form.
This is the ultimate power.
Well, I fucked up. But in Shadow's like first super form, it's like, he's got kind of like a metallic, almost like white platinum gold, which I really like because it helped more to differentiate him from Sonic. But in like starting with like Shadow the Hedgehog and onward, they definitely went more with like, well, it's supposed to be a Super Saiyan-esque form. Why don't we just make Shadow, the same color as Sonic, Not gonna try and differentiate him from...
Free. Unleash the power.
Oh, I fucked up big time. Okay, moving on. We're just gonna kind of have it be the same color. But, Shadow, or Sonic 3 was like, yeah, no, we'll make him a different color. It makes sense. It helps kind of keep him strikingly visually different, have him be a white gold instead of just, like, pure white or pure gold. I think, and with, like, give him, like, a red hue as well. Definitely help to kind of differentiate him from Sonic. So I definitely appreciate that. When he went super in the theater, and my friend A-Rock can attest to this, I shouted, they finally made him the right color, and in my head I'm like, oh god, did that sound racist? And, like, I mentioned it to him, he's like, no, I know what you're referring to. And somebody else was in there also was like, yeah, no, we knew what you were talking about. So, but still, it's not something... I'll admit, I've been kind of annoyed at the super transformation for Shadow for a while. I think it's why Doom Wings or Doom Shadow has been such like a breath of fresh air, because it's a new transformation for Shadow. It's just not another, oh well, we're gonna make him super. No, because Sonic has like a million different transformations at this point. That are like unique to like certain scenarios. You've got like Dark Spine Sonic from, or he absorbs a couple of the 7 World Rings from Sonic and the 7, or Sonic Lost, not Lost World, Sonic and the Arabian Nights. No, Sonic and the Secret Rings. Well, I mean, tomato at this point. Let's see. He has Excalibur Sonic, where Caliburn, the sword Caliburn transforms into Excalibur, and Sonic gets some like kick-ass gold armor, which is pretty cool. Which, weird to think about, that makes Shadow, or Sonic, the rightful king of England. And, like, I know it, like, because he pulled Caliburn from the stone, and that is the accurate, you know, means of how King Arthur proved he was worthy to be ruler of the Britons. But it definitely is also like a situation of it's so unhinged that even if you thought of Monty Python, like I did when I got Erendite in The Witcher 3 the other day, you're still like, it's too unhinged for it to even make sense. Although I guess it makes a bit more sense than the Lady of the Lake handing out Excalibur and that making Arthur king, because I believe in it, Caliburn is like damaged beyond repair, and he's instructed by, I could be wrong about this, he's instructed by Merlin to go to the lake where the lady resides. He is instructed by Merlin to throw... Yes, I got it! He's instructed to throw Caliburn into the lake, and then the lady emerges with Excalibur. But it's, so I think that it's correct. I'm not 100% sure.
This is the ultimate power.
I'm not like a Harvard professor on Arthurian legend, or an Oxford professor on Arthurian legend. I just get bored and read stuff whenever I'm bored enough to. I just get bored and read stuff on the internet. Anyway, with that horrifying concept out of the way. But yeah, no, so it was nice for Shadow to get a new form. I'm not opposed to a super form. More of, if they could have at least tried to keep it that sort of white gold, or platinum look, I feel like it would have been more interesting. And then, like, you know, maybe... Oh, and, like, Super Sonic 2 from frickin' Sonic... or Sonic Forces. But definitely, I feel like had they, you know, like, given, like, Shadow an enhanced super form from his, like, regular one that made him more gold, because he's, like, absorbing more chaos energy, I feel like that would have been more interesting than just saying, okay, for no reason other than the fact that we need him to at least look, you know, for at least uniformity, we're going to make him more gold. I don't know. I don't know if that's... but I definitely loved when he went to...
You've obtained a new power.
I've obtained lots of new powers, Black Doom. Anyway, from there, the film itself gets pretty, you know, interesting once Sonic and Shadow, like, team up and Shadow, like, you know, starts to, like, heal from Maria's loss, you know. it's definitely a situation of, you know, it's awesome. And then we get like Live and Learn, and we also get, again, Jim Carrey playing two roles definitely steals the show. The Eclipse cannon ends up not being tested on the moon because that's not Gerald's like end game. He wants to destroy everything. He's just going to use the Eclipse cannon to do so. It's definitely, it's a little disappointing, but it also kind of makes sense. The amount of power that thing was packing somehow equaled the 7 cast armor. There was no, like, we don't have all of them, but we have enough for a demonstration kind of thing. That thing was ready to explode by the epilogue, and it definitely shows. And I don't know how they did the fight with Jim Carrey fighting Jim Carrey, but it very much felt like a Jim Carrey thing. Like, I feel like they're like, okay, how are we gonna wrap this up? You know, it's like, I'll fight myself. And then they honestly kind of just take him out a very ridiculous, if not kind of childish way, which again, very Jim Carrey. If you've ever like seen at least clips of like Ace Ventura, you know what I'm talking about. And then they basically are like, okay, we're gonna rotate the cannon away, or from, if we can't stop it from firing, we'll at least rotate it away from Earth, and then they basically slice the moon in half. Which is definitely different from, you know, blowing up a chunk of the moon. But it's also not enough of a difference to stop the Snap Cube references, which again, A-Rock absolutely dropped. You know, like, how do you like that, Obama? I'm pissing on the moon, you idiot! Shit, I'll go back.
Quite nicely.
Oh, I tricked it. That's good. But I was sitting next to him, I was like, dude, okay, we get it. Snap Cube is a thing! There might be children here at this, like, late night showing. Let's not... Fuck, he got away! I didn't know you could just accidentally slip past him.
Chaos control.
You know what? That's fair. I fucked up a couple times. I have a bunch of keys. Cool. But they ended up slicing like a chunk off of the moon, and like in the post-credit scene where it's like night and a character appears with like appear in front of the silhouette of the moon, and it's definitely like, oh shit, that's so. We're not gonna like gloss over that like other Sonic games have managed to up until like a certain point. You know, we're definitely talking about the fact that the moon is broken. Shadow and Eggman sacrificed themselves. Shadow survives, but definitely was really cool to see him take off the inhibitor ring. And then the second post-credits scene right before the end has Shadow reclaiming his inhibitor, one of his inhibitor rings from Earth. And I like the ending for Robotnik, especially since they managed to avoid I've come to make an announcement kind of thing, instead of it being like him threatening the world, which is what it was in Sonic Adventure 2.
This is the ultimate power.
Oh, fuck. He's basically like giving a farewell message to anyone, or to the Earth, letting them know, you know, yes, despite my several attempts to enslave humanity, I am now saving the Earth, you know? And I've heard Jim Carrey is open to returning as Eggman for Sonic 4, which I don't know how they're going to do that. because I don't think it's possible for, at the very least, unless they start doing a multiverse thing, or like a multi-universe thing, and they somehow cast Jim Carrey as like Eggman Mega. Yes, as a character. It's the Eggman from Blaze the Cat's reality. But I don't really see how they could bring him back without it absolutely invalidating. Like at the end of Sonic 2, I absolutely, could see how Eggman could survive. Even if it is a bit, like, implausible. But Sonic 3, I mean, like, he made a point, like, Eggman makes a point of saying, like, once it explodes, the radiation itself is going to essentially, like, that nothing's going to be able to live, Good times! So, Shadow I absolutely believe because, one, he basically fucks with chaos energy on, like, a daily basis. I mean, he's just constantly teleporting around without a Chaos Emerald, but I honestly think that works for, like, his power set, Shit. Because he has, like, his rocket shoes. He's not just fast. He's essentially so fast he can just teleport instantaneously. It's to the point where it's like, oh, jeez. Don't scare me like that. I'd say my one complaint in the film is just kind of the downplaying of the Chaos Emeralds. Like, I know the Chaos Emeralds exist in, like, the Master Emerald, and, they're the ones guarding it. But it definitely feels like had they put more emphasis on the Emerald as opposed to it being just kind of like the thing that Sonic uses to gain an advantage over Shadow, at least temporarily, I feel like it would have been a bit more interesting. Like, I like the way they went with it, but I don't know, I feel like this was not the film to at least downplay the importance of the Emeralds, Especially when it comes to Shadow's story and his power set, I do hope that, because the preview for Sonic, or like one of the post credits was, they introduced Metal Sonic and they introduced Amy Rose. I know Amy's going to have her own powers, and I get the feeling that the Metal Sonics created are some kind of, like, army from an alternate reality, But at the same time, I just... The one thing that annoyed me about, like, Sonic games post, Sonic Adventure 2, like, the games definitely tried to, like, mention the importance of the Master Emerald, or the Chaos Emeralds. Master Emerald, ugh. That would have been awkward. Like, stress the importance, like, they're not just the MacGuffin that makes, like, Sonic and friends go Super Saiyan. They are literally, like, the religious iconography for an entire lost tribe. They are sources of nearly infinite energy. They are, honestly, both a blessing and a curse to this world. Sonic Heroes kind of downplayed that, and I don't hate that. because it was evident that the emeralds weren't the focus. It was Metal Sonic basically the main focus was Metal Sonic created this master plan to more or less enslave the world from behind anyone's back. And, you know, masquerading as Dr. Eggman. And it definitely was kind of an interesting concept. Shadow the Hedgehog doesn't downplay the importance of the emeralds, but they're very much like, we don't have. The one thing that I could say is the whole game is basically about hunting the emeralds. Well, also because, you know, Shadow's trying to figure out who the hell he is, and he needs them in order to get answers from this entity known as Black Doom, but that seems to know him. I get that. I'm totally okay with that. But it's definitely the only one who's actually using the emeralds ends up being Shadow. Like, imagine a version of Shadow the Hedgehog where Shadow is basically like having to like a mid-fight with Sonic, trying to like, this is my emerald. I don't need them, Shadow, but I need you to work with us to stop these aliens, you know? Imagine like a crazy boss fight where Sonic is just popping chaos control, you know, opposite Shadow, you know? Might have been a bit complicated to do, in the 7th generation of consoles, or the 6th generation, I forget which one the Xbox, GameCube, and PS3 were, but there definitely more emphasis should have been put on the emeralds than just they are the key to uncovering my past. Like, we know that's the case for Shadow, but I mean, there were literal sections where it's like, no, we got this emerald, we're good. Just go ahead and take down these bad guys. You know, why isn't Sonic like saying, I'll see if I can get Gun to help, or to let me use the emerald so we can kind of like overpower the enemy, Shadow. Meantime, let's see if we can't take any other, like, at least the implication that Shadow wasn't the only one using the emeralds for whatever means would have been interesting. And then, of course, in all scenarios, it's the final ending. Oh, right. Wait, I'm invincible!
This is the ultimate power.
Fuck, I'm out of boost. I'm not invincible anymore! No! I got cocky! Anyway, you know, and then the emeralds don't really become of any importance until the final story. It's just kind of like, oh, collect them, you know? I definitely... And then that's kind of what happened in Sonic 06, which is an entirely different can of worms.
Out of my way.
But where... I mean, first off, I'm pretty sure Sonic Riders and their games don't even have, like, any, like, proper usage of the emeralds. It's more just like, yeah, they're there. They're the thing that everyone wants, and they're, I think, the reward for winning this convoluted, extreme sport that we're forcing the player to take part in, you know? Because apparently Sonic's not fast enough to take on a freaking board of some kind, or to outrun a hoverboard. Shit. But going from there, yeah, Sonic 06, again, the emeralds. The emeralds are important, but there's so much time traveling convolution that's involved with them that honestly, the fact that they're kind of rendered as a MacGuffin is probably in its favor. Or like in their favor. Like there's no actual like situation where the emeralds actually at some point could have been useful. They're more, we have one of the emeralds, oh no, now we don't have the emerald. Well, we need to get the emerald, we can do this with the emerald, but we're not going to really show it to you. We still need those emeralds. Okay, let's go use the emeralds in this situation, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, Sonic 06 introduced a lot of interesting concepts. Like, again, Shadow taking off his inhibitor ring. Have that be an ability in a game with Shadow, for Shadow's gameplay, and I feel like you would at least, it would be more interesting, you know? Like, if you're not gonna have Shadow, like in this game, Shadow is able to do Chaos Control because he found the Emerald before the events of the game, and you know, he's making use of it. You know, whereas Sonic is like, I'm just having fun, fucking around in the past, you know. Shadow is more like, okay, I need to use every asset that I have to my advantage. So, the Sonic Colors at least allows you to, after you collect the emeralds, but they're not the MacGuffin of the game. In fact, there is no benefit to getting the emeralds in Sonic Colors, aside from once you have them, you can, instead of your color powers, go supersonic abilities. And, you know, being able to do that, that's awesome. You know, I feel like the emeralds have been a MacGuffin for so long that the days of it being like an optional thing that you can unlock for gameplay improvement, I feel like they're unfortunately too far gone. And that's sad. I love, again, Sonic Generations lets you play as once you collect the emeralds, and beat the game, you unlock a... Yay! Hi, Rouge. Holy fuck, how long have I been talking for? Holy shit, this has been an hour! Alright, I gotta wrap it up. I appreciate that the game has, I wish the movie would have put more importance on the emeralds in this one than just have them be kind of like the MacGuffin that allows to handle this bad situation, you know? Oh, okay. And then, you know what? I'm going to save, and then we're going to move over to Sonic. Because I think it's about time. I have no problem having a longer stream. We definitely need to move on. I've spent too much time talking. Shit. Excuse me. I hope to do more of the emeralds in the next film. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Oh shit! We're nowhere done! This is the right save file, right? Oh my god, we are no- oh my god. Okay. So I guess we're not done. I posted on social media, let's finish this game up. No, I am nowhere done. Oh, shit. Not that this is a bad game or anything. I just... Clearly it's been a while since I played it. God damn. Shit. Fuck, I have lives now, too. Oh, I got my life back. Boom! Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. You know, I'm just gonna kind of wrap up my thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 3 by saying this. It is very much a good movie, and it's very much a fun movie. Is it the perfect movie? I feel like that's subjective. Is it the best of the 3 films? Absolutely. Is it going to win an Oscar? I feel like a lot of stuff would have to get snubbed in order for Sonic 3 to win an Oscar, but that was never going to be an Oscar-worthy film. It's okay for movies to just be like, we want you, you can go ahead and shut your brain off for a little bit. We just want you to have fun, you know? And ultimately, you know, it's definitely better than IGN said. We're like, oh, you know, it's the best of them, but we're only going to give it a 5 out of 10. Somebody at IGN is smoking crack. Somebody at IGN is a crackhead, and I feel like until someone like deals with that in like a manner befitting shit. I feel like until somebody deals with that fact, IGN is going to lose credibility. Because they literally said it's better than the other 2, than the previous Sonic films, but they end up giving it a 5 out of 10. It's ridiculous. My thoughts, go watch Sonic 3. But if you're expecting, like, you know, like, The Handmaiden's Tale. Oh, hey, cool, I found a chow. You're expecting, like, The Handmaiden's Tale level of quality from it, you're going to be sorely disappointed. If you're going in just to watch a fun movie about a game that's based off a game that you played when you were a kid, you're going to have the best time of your life. That is my advice to you. You know? See, had I realized that I had so much of this game left, I would not have spent the whole time replaying Shadow levels. Though, to be fair, they were pretty fucking fun. So... I will say, some of the dialogue, now that I'm an adult, some of the dialogue definitely feels kind of cringe. Like the whole talk about low budget flights, no food or movies. You know, definitely, it's a statement that has aged poorly, and, okay, the use of it in Sonic Adventure 2 was very much you're going to, or you know, it's like it's mocking the military that's wrongfully imprisoned Sonic. Oh shit. In a Lightspeed Dash, ladies and gentlemen. In this film, it's more like Sonic's trying to be cute, you know, which, I get it, he's a kid, but this is a pretty serious frickin' situation, Sonic, you know? Shadow's like fucking up shit at the beginning of the movie in Shibuya. Has Japan not been through enough? Do they need an edgelord fucking things up? I don't know, it felt... Like, I thought to myself, like, it's an iconic line, but I thought to myself, oh god, this feels cringe. And then it just had, like, one of those realizations, like, wait a minute, is that line always cringe? And then I just had, like, that meme, like, the spaceman getting ready to shoot, like, a cohort. It's like, always has been. Like, in context, it's a little more bearable, but out of context, or, like, in the context of Sonic Adventure 2, it's bearable. In the context of Sonic 3, it comes off as a one-liner designed to kind of add levity to a very serious situation. At a point in which Gun really wasn't the enemy. Until the commander gets put out of commission and his replacement's like, fuck Sonic, Tails, you know? Which is absolutely the worst, like, idea that you can have, you know? These guys have done nothing but try and help. But going from there, other than that, again, very good film. I like the way there were good parts about Maria's recontextualization, but also kind of confusing parts is like, you know, why does she need to be there aside from moving the plot forward? Again, if you think about it too much as like a Sonic fan, it's like, okay, there's definitely some parts of this that don't make sense, but it ultimately kind of works to bring it all together. Woo! Alright, Speed Highway has been completely restored.
Sonic, it was so scary, but I tried to be really brave.
You did great, kiddo.
Woo! Oh yeah! Rolling! Oh! Oh, now it's all accelerated because I hit the speed thingy. There we go. I think part of the reason why, like, I wasn't really, like, super excited to talk about it because I've like, and why I kind of let like my thoughts on the film fest. So like, had we done this whole thing the weekend of, you know, had I like tried to put this time aside instead of going straight into Christmas shopping, I probably would have like, oh my god, it was such a good film, you know. But then I again let time kind of get away from me, and you know, shit happens, and at the same time, I kind of had, like... The film uses Live and Learn to a extreme, which makes sense. It's the theme of Sonic Adventure 2. But, you know, it's like they have it in the beginning where Maria's playing guitar, you know, for Shadow. And it's really cute. And all that, and ultimately, yay! I learned nothing! You know, so they use the film a lot, especially in like the epilogue. They have the big live and learn moment where Super Sonic and Super Shadow are trying to take it down. My friend at the end of the film decides to point out, oh yeah, by the way, Crush 40 is trying to sue Sega. Apparently they haven't been using, like, or they haven't been getting residuals for the additional. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, that song is 20 years old. We're still talking about something like this? Missing. Ray the Squirrel and Muggy the Armadillo. Missing since the year I was born. Have you seen us? Yeah. You actually reappeared in Sonic Mania. So, I don't know, I think my excitement to talk about it has just kind of been ruined by the fact that apparently Sega's been screwing over, like, their biggest, like, one of their biggest musical teams for a while, and it's like, you know, I love that song. And it's so iconic, you can't really have Sonic Adventure 2, or at least even the story of Sonic Adventure 2, without Live and Learn. So in that regard, I definitely think A-Rock kind of ruined the film for me a bit. Because the rest of the time that I was like just watching or like thinking about the film, I was also passively thinking about how like, oh yeah, by the way, Crush 40 is suing Sega. Like I thought at first it was like something he misheard on TikTok, because that's an entirely different thing. But you know, TikTok has a lot of social media has a lot of misinformation. Twitter. But no, apparently it's true. Apparently they have the rights to the song Live and Learn, and their continued use up to a certain point has to kind of be approved. And I'm not going to say that Crush 40 is wrong to try and, like, you know, get what's theirs. But at the same time, like, they've become so synonymous with Sonic. Oh, LG. It is very hard to picture certain Sonic concepts or like certain Sonic like media without their music, you know? Like I can't, if they ever redid Sonic, like remade Sonic Adventure 2 and Sega had to kind of falling out with Crush 40, I don't think we'd be able to have you know, Sonic Adventure 2, because it's such a big part of just the feel of that game, you know? Like, I know they weren't the only artists that worked on Sonic Adventure 2, but they were the big artists that worked on Sonic Adventure 2, and then Crush 40 has done so much with Sega for Sonic that the loss of them, honestly, would be a detriment to the franchise than it would be an asset. Like, I don't think Sega could say, oh, it's an acceptable loss if you don't want to work with us anymore. You know, we'll get someone else. And absolutely, they're allowed to branch out, but for certain stuff, you have to have the right music. And unfortunately, Sonic Adventure 2, there is no other right music except Crush 40, like, you know, Live and Learn. I don't think they do Escape from... might do Escape from the City. I don't think they did It Doesn't Matter. But... they did the more commonly used iteration of All Hail Shadow. I don't know what the hell happened to Magnify. But... but they're definitely no longer a part of a... because unless you played Shadow the Hedgehog, All Hail Shadow is not... or it's... the iteration Crush 40, the remix Crush 40 did of Sonic 06, is the version of All Hail Shadow everyone knows, because it's the one that they've been using. Because again, Crush 40 has a very close relationship with Sega when it comes to the Sonic franchise. Which again kind of bums me out, because when you stop and think about it, you kind of like are left in a situation of why would Sega screw over like one of their biggest like artist collaborations for one of their biggest franchises, you know? It would be like Sega... No, I don't think that actually works. I was gonna say, like, it'd be like Sega continuing to use the Yakuza name, and then just going off and pissing off the Yakuza for something else entirely. But I don't think... honestly, my theory about the reason why Sega changed,
Thanks, Big Blue. That's the first time I've ever been stolen.
You're a real gem, Rouge.
Boom. Oh shit, I meant to switch over to Act 1. Ah, whatever. You can honestly do Act 1 or 2. Shit. I got greedy! In any order that you want for this game, which is kind of nice. What was I going with this?
Once you're up there, jump again to perform a walk.
No shit, Oma Chow. Oma Chow. Oma Chow at some point feels like the Duolingo bird of the Sonic franchise. It's like, learn the mechanics or die. Doesn't it feel like that at some point? Anyway, fuck. I'm gonna say something and then my brain... Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So, my theory as to why Sega stopped using the Yakuza title for the English version is not because that they were like. I feel like the officially publicized reason is because like, well, we have the same franchise with two different names internationally, or in the East and the West. You know, we should probably try and consolidate those. My theory is that Sega of America was actively threatened by, I don't know if they are still active, the actual Japanese Yakuza. Like, I don't know who, but I feel like they accidentally, like, as the franchise got more ridiculous, they actively pissed someone in the Yakuza off. And they're like, okay, look, we're intolerant because, you know, the East decided to use, or Sega of America decided to use this name and test it better. I don't know, than Like a Dragon over in the West, but this franchise has gotten so out of hand. It does not feel right to associate it with us, you know. So maybe, you know, it's time to stop using the name Yakuza. You know, like we have no problem with you making stories about the Yakuza, but maybe don't have the game title Yakuza. You know, because we don't want our. Again, that's my theory. I didn't say it was a well-founded or sound theory. I'm just saying that's my theory. Who knows? The Yakuza was probably like the heads of the Yakuza were probably like elated when they found out that there was a game that was like a game franchise that like focused on like the fictional versions of the organizations. Like, oh wow, that's cool. You know? I don't know. I have no idea what goes on in the Yakuza because I'm not any kind of mafia. And that's a good thing. I feel like I'd be on the FBI's most wanted list if I was in any kind of mafia. The Italian mafia, the Russian mafia, the Korean mafia, the Chinese mafia, the Yakuza, the Irish mafia, the... that other one? What's that other mafia that kind of... No one really thinks of it as a mafia. Oh, right, MAGA. That's the other mafia I was thinking of. Did you notice I just made this political? And we're moving on. Because I know some lunatic's gonna, like, try and kill me.
Here to travel in different. There are other secret routes, so keep an eye out.
I don't want to be on a secret underwater route. Fuck! Anyway. But, I don't know. I was bummed when I heard that, like, things were souring with Crush 40 and Sega. I hope that everything is kind of handled amicably, and Sega respects Crush 40's autonomy, and I hope that, you know, everyone kind of understands that there's a reason why these are so, like, synonymous with them. Why their music is so synonymous with the franchise, you know? Going from there... what hurts. That is the one problem with me doing like a big talkie stream, is that it is really easy to just hurt my throat. I don't know why. But anyway. Other than that, hey, I found a Chow. Ooh! Wait, I can't see the proper coloring of this Chow. Is that Chow the same color as my PlayStation controller, my PS4 DualShock 4, the blueberry bonanza bonsai controller? Because if so, that's awesome. I literally learned how to repair that controller because I didn't want to lose it. You know, I didn't want to have to just throw it away or replace it. I also, when I traded in my PS4 base for a PS4 Pro, didn't want to lose that. When did that happen, Brandon? Sometime last year. Because I decided I wanted to use my Ruby skin, and if PlayStation's not going to let Tamsoft fix Senran Kagura for PS5, then I might as well have a device that can actually play it. And use the Ayame DLC! That's the thing, if I had missed out on it, I would have just been fine and moved on. But I played it, and now I wanted to continue playing with the Ayame DLC. Either bring it back so I can buy it on Steam, and just move on with my life, or make the game playable on PS5.
Pretty sure we've figured things out, and it's pretty dire. Ah!
Oh no! It's Leroy Jenkins!
That thing keeps jumping back and forth through time, consuming the dimensional energy, and all that's left behind is this lifeless white void. The Sonics are the one constant here. Their speed is restoring space-time.
Then I guess we have to run like there's no tomorrow, or there won't be a tomorrow.
Thank you, my friend. Beware, for I have experienced our foe's power, and it is pure evil.
Oh my god! That's not Leroy Jenkins! That's Gontaro Dim! How did he get back into our dimension? God damn it! What fucker made a deal with him? Okay. I got other things to do. I need to wrap this stream up. I so want to fight Shadow right now. Yeah, you know what? Let's go fight Shadow. I guess it'll be a date to die for. The one thing I don't understand, how the fuck are they breathing in space? Woo!
Collect energy cores to power yourself up. Get 2 energy cores quickly to power up before Shadow.
You bitch, I'm going to outrun you. Ha! Take that, Shadow. No, 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 no. Bad Shadow. Bad. my energy core! Sonic powered up! Hit Shadow with meteorites to slow him down.
Turned into a meteorite to knock at its shadow.
See, right there, live and learn.
Just about got it. Charge into Shadow and show him who's boss.
Boom, boom, boom. Of course, we now know that Shadow played Sonic for a fool and gave him a fake chaos up. I perfected the level. Sorry, Shadow, but this one's mine. Better luck next time. And while Shadow is hanging out here right now, he's just kind of recovering. Because we know he's going to go back and fight like there's no tomorrow. Alright. But no, the original game, he just kind of hangs out there. It's like, well, shit. I lost the emerald. Now what am I supposed to do? Alright, I think we've spent enough time playing around with Sonic. Thank you all very much for watching. I apologize for the confusion. Again, I did not realize that I had not finished the game. I confused this for my my original save file. And hopefully, yeah, I think I'm gonna like try and streamline this so we can get through it faster. But I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next time!